Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I thank all of you who are serving on the panel today. Dr. Spence, as I'm sure you know, in May of 2021, a boy entered a women's bathroom at Stonebridge High School and sexually assaulted a 15-year-old girl. The chairman in his opening statement alluded to this. The boy was wearing a skirt, according to the survivor's family, a claim that was never contested by the boy's family. And you might think that the school immediately would have called law enforcement and had the boy arrested. But again, that's not what happened. Police were called for one person, and that was Scott Smith, the survivor's father, who went to the school's main office and was irate that the district wasn't initially involving law enforcement over his daughter's assault. So I would first ask you, Mr. Spence, on behalf of the Loudoun County Public School, would you like to apologize to Mr. Smith this morning?
Anytime a child is assaulted, it's a horrific thing, and that was predating my tenure, but what I would say is, of course we would involve law enforcement, of course we would enforce our policies. Our policies and law do not contemplate that something like this should or could happen to our students, and if it does, we have to react immediately and appropriately, and we would.
I recognize you weren't superintendent in 2021, but can you maybe tell us what policy changes have you or the Loudoun County Public Schools put in place to prevent tragedies like this from happening again?
I think it is a matter in Loudoun County Public Schools of ensuring that the policies that we have are followed, that the law is followed. I know that we have restructured our Title IX office since that time. Other than that, it is a matter of ensuring that we enforce our policies and we follow the law, and that we engage directly with our parents and our law enforcement partners when incidents like these come up, and we provide support to our families and to our students that need it.
Well, as appalling as the incident was at Stonebridge High School, I think all of America is recognizing that incidents like this are happening across the country. And it's personal to me because we're seeing the same concerns in my own congressional district. Parents in Cabarrus County raise serious concerns about biological males entering girls' bathrooms and locker rooms in 2 local high schools. And the reports that my office received were deeply disturbing, and I didn't know anything else to do but to take them directly to the Department of Education. And I will say I'm grateful to Secretary McMahon and the Department of Education taking quick action, and they have opened a Title IX investigation into Cabarrus County schools so we can prevent sexual assault situations from happening and address the concerns of parents and students. While we're on the same avenue, Dr. Spence, back in 2024, it was found through public records requests that you missed a month of that school year for several taxpayer-funded trips. I think it reported you were in Miami, Puerto Rico, San Diego, and Richmond. You went on 4 trips in 3 months. During your trip to Richmond, although it caught my attention, it was reported that Loudoun County Public Schools did not immediately tell parents about a string of student overdoses, some including fentanyl. And according to the Sheriff's Office, 11 Parkview High School students overdosed, became Loudoun County Public Schools' biggest school safety crisis since the 2 sexual assaults back in 2021. As a result of your failure to notify parents of these overdoses, I understand Governor Glenn Youngkin signed an executive order to immediately notify parents of overdoses. Governor Youngkin also had an amendment that would require schools to notify parents within 24 hours of student overdoses. And although the amendment passed unanimously in the state Senate, House Democrats in Virginia blocked the amendment. It seems like it would be common sense to notify families about student overdoses at schools so parents can discuss the incidents with their children. So I want to ask you in the last minute, how soon after the student overdoses were you made aware of the situation?
When you say the incident that you referred to back
Yes.
in 2024, so as soon as I became made aware of that, I put a team together in the school, and we communicated to parents within that same 3 days after I understood exactly what had occurred. One of the challenges at that time, and thankfully because of some of the work that's been done in the legislature, we now have better clarification on what needs to be reported, is it's unclear to us when we have an overdose happening. So I'll give you an example of what I mean. If a student is transported medically out of our building, let's say that they have passed out and they're transported medically out of our building, when they get to the hospital, we no longer have access to their medical records. They don't tell us what happened to the child. We just know that they passed out in our building. And then we were being told by law enforcement after the fact that they suspected overdoses. And as soon as the sheriff called me and communicated about that, I began working with our school and with our communication team to make sure that we were notifying our parents. So much of what was reported was either distorted or factually inaccurate, including the number of overdoses that were happening in our schools versus those happening in our communities. I agreed with the legislation that went through the General Assembly. The only thing that I asked for, and that I think some Democrats maybe were asking for during that time, if I could just finish this one thought.
Finish it quickly.
Thank you, was that this is a community issue, and I felt if we were going to be notifying parents of overdoses in our schools, that those who are responsible for tracking overdoses in our community should also be notifying our communities that that was happening.